Fellas, ladies, you looking for lotions? You looking for beard oils? But unfortunately, everything you get from mainstream got chemicals in it and it's probably killing you? No problem, we got you. Go check out my people from top to bottom hair and skincare. That's top to bottom hair and skincare. www.top2bottom, BOTTU, the U is for unique, M.com. Tell them I sent you.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to Unfiltered Sports. Tonight on Unfiltered Sports, a superstar quarterback returns to form. A supposed contender is falling apart, and one underdog team is suddenly punching way above its weight. Let's dive into it tonight. I'm your host, Shaq, and let's get Unfiltered Sports started and going. Yo, what's going on, everybody? So let's talk about tonight, right? How we have a superstar quarterback returning to the NFL. Y'all know who I'm talking about on the practice squad with the Colts. 44 years old quarterback Philip Rivers is returning to the Colts. Shocking, in my opinion. Why? Because he's out of his prime. Do I personally think he's going to be able to save the Colts season? Probably not. He might give him a boost and some enthusiasm on the sideline. You know, as a veteran quarterback, you're able to support the younger quarterbacks, teach them, mentor them. And that's maybe what they need, someone to mentor and help this organization grow to new heights. If he starts as a quarterback, will he take this team far? I'll see if he can get him in a playoff game or not. But yeah, he's old. I just don't think he has it left in him. You know, does he go from being a superstar quarterback to being a grandpa? What is his name now? Grandpa or superstar quarterback? Should he went to the Colts? It's none of my business. I think he should have went back to the team where he started at, and that's the Chargers. And that's just where we're gonna leave it at for that. But let's talk about a team that has started out very, very well, but is now just hitting the deck. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. You know who I'm talking about. It's the Philadelphia Eagles. Star quarterback Jalen Hurts has thrown more interceptions and has had more turnovers in the last 4 games than he has had his entire season. That's crazy. Like, that is just mind blowing, in my opinion. We're not going to sit here and say that, you know, he's a bad quarterback or that, you know, he's still got a lot left in the tank or whatnot. I do believe he has a lot left in the tank, but he is not living up to the Super Bowl contending MVP quarterback that he was last year and 2 years ago when he was in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts has had a different offensive coordinator every single year he has been in the NFL. Does that make a difference? Yes. Should that really make a difference? No. But my issue is that Jalen Hurts cannot let the play callers dictate how he performs on the court. Yes, I know he has the potential to be a great quarterback when he's running the ball, a great quarterback when he is throwing the ball, but he is letting social media get to him. He's letting the influence of his team get to him as well. So when we look at it, is AJ Brown has complained on social media so many times that he has now influenced the decision of the offensive coordinator and the GM about how he gets more repetition and how he gets more of the receptions than Devontae Smith or even Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert last game has shown up. Hey, that's a great point in the comments here, right? Is he can't run the pro style offense. I think he is very more efficient as an RPO quarterback than in the style that he is right now. Jalen Hurts can run the ball. He can throw the ball. But in the offense that he is in right now, he is not performing to the standard that he is right now. The offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, in my opinion, needs to go. He is not aggressive enough to even consider running RPOs in his offense like we have been in years past. Last year, we have run majority of our offense was an RPO offense. But now, is it time for him to just play the background for a game? Let Tanner step in for a game. Let's see what Tanner can do. Is it time to see what the future holds in Philadelphia by continuing to allow Jalen Hurts step in? There's a lot, right? We got the social media drama, we got the locker room drama, we got a lot that's going on. But is it really worth the amount of losses that we've had to continue to happen? If we're looking at the schedule now for the Philadelphia Eagles, the remainder of the season, right? They got the Commanders twice, they got the Raiders this weekend, and then they got Buffalo, right? Out of those 4 games, honestly speaking, they should go 3-4. But the way they have been playing, which is terrible, I honestly think that they could lose a game to Washington. And if they don't get their act together, they will lose this game this weekend to the Raiders. As a diehard Eagles fan, I hate to say that, but it's the God-given, honest truth. On the second hand, I'm going to leave this one up for discussion here. But who do you guys think that's an underdog team who started out very, very poorly, like trash, very trash, and is now turning it around, winning games, and you can see that they're making a fight and a run for the playoffs? I want to hear your answers in the chat first before I give you guys my answers, because I got a few speculations here, in my opinion. Teams that are making it, a run for the playoffs. Will they actually make it into the playoffs? We will never know until the playoffs get here, because the playoff picture is always open until that week before. Colts. Hey, there you go. Philip Rivers is coming in. That's good. That's a good one. We know the Steelers are struggling right now to make a run, but honestly, they can make a run. But that's not who I was going to say. Panthers. Panthers is a good one. I like that one. I'll give you that one. The Panthers is a good one. I forgot about them, so I slept on them. So yeah, they definitely are an underdog team for sure. And as much as I hate to say it, out the pit, you beat me to it. Dallas is one of those teams I was thinking about. Dallas is making a run as an underdog team for a playoff spot. If the Eagles keep playing the way they're playing and Dallas wins out and the Eagles lose another game, Dallas will take the NFC East and they will make it into the playoffs, forcing the Eagles to be a wild card team. The Raiders is one of those teams that's not really what I was thinking about, but if you say so. But my teams that I was thinking about outside of Dallas was Chicago, Detroit, and they're not playing their best football right now, but the Chiefs. Those are the 3 teams that I was thinking about outside of Dallas. So just think about how Chicago, at one point they were number 1 in the NFC for a week, and then they fell down to like number 7 or something like that. But they're still making a run, and a crazy run. They have an okay team, but I think that they're considered an underdog at this point. They're making a run for the playoffs. So, just it is what it is. The Raiders' record, it speaks for itself, just in my opinion. But like 2 wins, that's just outrageous. Like, if you're a Raiders fan and you live through that, like, more power and more props to you. As long as you didn't say the Jets or the Titans, we cool. Like, yeah, two trash teams in my opinion. Very. So it's a coin flip for the Detroit, in my opinion. So just know, like, it is what it is. They have an option to turn it around, get their life together, play some good football, but they have a 50% chance of actually making a wild card spot for that. When it comes to the Texans, someone mentioned the Texans earlier with the Panthers, right? So they started out, right? 0 wins, zero. Worse than the Cowboys, worse than Tennessee. And they are now fighting for the AFC South lead, like the number one spot in the AFC South. So that tells you a lot about what they're doing as an underdog team. The Texans. The Panthers, out of all teams that beat the Dallas Cowgirls, are fighting for a spot in the playoffs as well. That tells you a lot about their team. Now the Chiefs, on the other hand, like, yes, they're up in the air, but let's think about it. They only have about a 12% chance of actually making the playoffs. Another team that we don't want to sleep on is the Jets. I hate to mention the Jets because my old manager is a Jets fan. They still have a chance, probably around the same percent as the Chiefs, a 12% chance of making the playoffs. There is still hope for Jets fans out there. Jets fans, where they had to survive the butt fumble. The butt fumble from Mark Sanchez. We talking about the same Jets team here. No, that they still have an opportunity to make the playoff here. The same Jets team where Aaron Rodgers played for and got hurt in his first drive in a Jets uniform. But then he got traded to the Steelers and now he's back to his original form. Like, that is crazy. You know how pissed off I would be if I was the Jets to have a veteran quarterback who can put up numbers and then you get sent away to a different team and he's performing like he has never performed before. This man is throwing touchdown bombs like it was no tomorrow. Like, he is playing as if this was his last game. This is his last dance. And he is playing some decent football. No, I don't like the Steelers at all. But I know somebody that does. And yeah, just they're trash in my opinion. But that's just neither here or there. But we're not going to keep it biased here. We're going to keep it unfiltered, unbiased, and we're going to do what we do best over here, right? But just think, there is so many teams out there that still have that opportunity to make the playoffs. One of this tonight, for example, I don't believe any of these teams actually have a chance of making the playoffs tonight. But the game tonight, the Falcons, the Dirty Birds, the team that Mike Vick once carried, is trash, garbage, basura, like, done. Shouldn't even be allowed to play in the NFL until they can get their act together. Is playing tonight against the Bucks. They're an underdog team tonight against the Bucks. And I believe the Bucks will run through Atlanta. And it's going to be a really a high scoring game for Tampa Bay. A really high scoring game for Tampa Bay. But back to these playoff contenders. All right, before we get back to the playoff contenders, what are my thoughts on the Vikings? Are they done? Honestly speaking, in my opinion, I think that they're just going through a rough patch right now. I think that if they can find that niche that they can click together again, that they can get over this hump that they're in right now. Like, they started off on fire and playing pretty decent football. but it's just something's just not clicking with them right now. Maybe someone's just being too selfish, too greedy, or whatever the case may be. But I think that they're just in a dry spot right now, and that if they can get over that hump and they find a game where everybody's clicking on all cylinders, then yes, that they are going to be able to keep fighting and playing some decent football and be a contender for years to come. Now, will they win the Super Bowl? Probably not. Sorry, Vikings fans, you asked for it, but you know it's just, at least you're not like the Cowboys fans. Every year, this is your year. Every year, you're going to win the Super Bowl. Every year, you're going to do something spectacular, and then your quarterback gets hurt, and then you start crying like T.O., talk about that's my quarterback, that's my teammate, and all this other good stuff. But I'll give props to the Vikings. They play some pretty decent football. They just got to get over that dry spot that they're in right now and find something that's going to click for all of them to work together. Maybe the staff member, maybe the coaches just got too confident in what they were doing by playing teams that maybe were just subpar. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Don't be surprised. The Vikings could pull it out of them and win the Super Bowl in the next 5 years. Not 25 years. That's OD. But it is what it is. You never know. But hey, can they be a surprise and pull off a playoff wild card? It's possible. Like I said, the playoffs are still open until most likely that week before playoffs, because there's so many scenarios and cases out there that people will or teams will find themselves in. For example, if the Eagles lose 2 more games, but the Cowboys win out, guess what? The Cowboys take the NFC East and they got their playoff spot in the number 3 position, or maybe even a little bit lower than that. But it's a lot to think about with them. They will play some decent football, and then they will surprise you by going back to being trash, and then you be like, dang man, like that was some good stuff right there. Like, what are y'all doing? So again, don't be surprised at some teams are playing right now, and then how they go to being trash, and then you be like, well, it is what it is. But looking at the start of the season, right? Let's look at this here, right? So we look at the start of the NFL season. What is one team, chat, that went from being like, man, like they're subpar, like they're playing football, like they're winning games or losing games, but like I like, dang, like these dudes are for real. Like they are the real deal. We're not talking about underdog, but we talk about like these dudes was playing some subpar football, but like, man, they are the real deal right now. Like they are playing decent football. They are putting on a show. Like, could this be the team that go in and just start knocking people out the playoffs because they being slept on? The Dolphins? All right. I respect that one. I respect that one. Especially without Tyreek Hill. I mean, with him going down, that was a hurt today. Their wide receiver one, but that's a respect thing right there. The Dolphins, the Niners, okay. I'm not too big on the Niners, but I got a couple people that are Niners fans, and we know how they act. And now that they got Christian McCaffrey back, I think that's a good point that they are playing some decent football. But do I think that they're going to be a team that can go in and like make a statement? Not this year, no. You keep mentioning the Raiders, but the Raiders are trash. They are trash. Why do we keep going back to the Raiders? They are trash. Complete trash. Like, let's just move on from the Raiders. Like, I don't know what you're fascinated about with the Raiders, but they are complete trash. Like, that's just ridiculous. And to even think that the Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl, I think you just hit your head one too many times there, because it ain't happening. You do realize that you got to go through the Patriots in the AFC right now. And the Patriots, as much as I hate to say this right now, the Patriots are playing some decent football. The Patriots, out of all teams that you wouldn't even expect to go back to the playoffs anytime soon because of the loss of Tom Brady is playing some decent football right now. I haven't followed the Chargers as much, but I can't really say like they're playing some decent football. They're playing some garbage football. Yes, I'm a little salty that they beat the Eagles, but that was just a dumb decision by the offensive coordinator, even on Jalen Hurts' part to follow through. You should have called an audible at the line of scrimmage, knowing damn well it is 1st and 10, and you decide that you want to pass the ball. And not only did it hit his hands, it hit his shoulder pads, and they intercepted it in overtime. Like, I was mad. I was mad. But I give that game to the Chargers. See, you can put 9 cents on them Steelers all you want, but don't be that down when Mike Tomlin don't produce for y'all. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say about the Steelers, man. Last I checked, the Eagles got more wins over the Steelers in the head-to-head matchup. So I'm just saying, you might want to think about being a Philadelphia Eagles fan at some point. It's never too late to switch over to the good side, but that's neither here or there. Let's talk about young talent real fast. We got a lot of young talent in the NFL, but let's look at this Rookie of the Year candidates here. Let's look at that. Who do you guys think could be the Rookie of the Year for the NFL? I know some people gonna put Sanders out there, so we'll see. But let's see who you guys believe could be Rookie of the Year for the NFL. Like someone like a rookie that's been outstanding, balling hard, doing what they got to do. And like I said, a lot of people might think a lot of people might think that Sanders, because he came in and he's won a game for the Browns or whatnot, and the position that he came in or whatnot. But that's a open debate right there. We know the Steelers won 6 Super Bowls, but that's all right. That's true. The wide receiver for the Bucks is balling out right now, but I can see them giving Shador that Rookie of the Year, and that's who I had in mind. But again, that's a great topic for debate and open for debate right there, right? But what do you? Or let's go to this debate here. Let's put Jalen Hurts back on the hot seat. Do you think it is time for him to give up his starting spot and mentor Tanner, or do you let him continue to struggle and push forward? Because in my honest opinion, I'm not going to let him struggle much longer. I see a lot of people calling for him to sit this game out. Like literally sit this game out. So do you sit him for a game, let him get his thoughts together? Or do you let him continue to play and let this offense just go into the ground? And you're right. I don't think he has that same mindset and that same drive that he had last season that he does this season, because he won that Super Bowl. He won Super Bowl MVP. But let's think about it. No, the Eagles aren't the worst fans, but that's all right. Have you ever even been to a Phillies game in person? Philly game in person to know? No, probably not, but it's all right, man. We show love no matter what. So back to the topic at hand is, are the Eagles going to let Jalen Hurts stay in the game, or are they going to bench Jalen Hurts and let Tanner play a game? Because again, it's against the Raiders. They have one of the worst records in the league right now. So what do you do as a coach? Do you bench him, or do you keep him in the game? Do you let your offense struggle? Better question yet. Let's put this offensive coordinator on the hot seat. Do you fire your offensive coordinator before the playoffs and put someone else in that spot? Or do you keep him and let this offense continue to struggle? In my honest opinion, I say we get rid of him. Let Nick Sirianni take over for the remainder of the season, call his plays, do what he got to do, and then we bring back our old offensive coordinator and we get this offense rolling back to the way it used to be. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Telling you, it's just this offensive coordinator is not aggressive enough for me. I want him to throw the ball 75 yards down the field to Devontae Smith and score that touchdown. Or I want him to throw it to A.J. Brown across the middle and let him do what he do best. Better yet, let's get our offensive line back to the way it used to be so they can block for Saquon Barkley so he can have another great season of running the football. But see, none of this stuff is happening. See, a lot of these teams are more worried about the tush push than they are anything else. As you guys seen against the Chargers, they did a fake tush push to Saquon Barkley, and he broke out for a 50-yard touchdown. They didn't. The Eagles didn't just have one bad game. They've had multiple bad games. Multiple bad games. Like, yeah, he's gonna come back, and he's going to help the team through it. But we're not talking about firing a quarterback. We talk about firing an offensive coordinator here. That's what we talking about. Like, we trust Jalen Hurts that he can play in the offense that he knows how to play in. But let's talk about that offensive coordinator and how he ain't doing anything. That's the issue. Is the offensive coordinator is not utilizing his offensive weapons to their top priority. That's the issue. Just saying. It might be too late in the season, but do you risk dropping down in the playoffs, or do you make a decision to keep your spot in your position that you're currently in right now, right? So, I mean, you said that the Eagles are mediocre, but how can you call them mediocre? And one, they've been to the Super Bowl more times than the Cowboys have in the last 10 years. Jalen Hurts alone has been to the Super Bowl 4 times compared to Dak Prescott, who's only had 4 playoff wins in his entire career. So you talk about mediocre. I mean, it's not mediocre at all. So, I mean, that's your opinion, and I respect your opinion, but we stick with the facts over here. That's just not being mediocre. The Eagles' problem right now is that they're not soft. It's the fact that they're too worried about social media, too worried about their self pride. They're too worried about the wrong things instead of trying to play team football. That's the issue. So I mean, it is what it is. But soft is just it's far from it. So yeah, it is what it is. But let's go back to Philip Rivers. And that's just been sitting there. Dak just needs to get rid of it. Like he's just done. He needs to hang up his cleats and just stick to doing whatever he's good at. And football isn't that thing. So like they just need to get rid of him, move on, find a new quarterback, and just continue to push on from there. But let's just go back to Philip Rivers. Like he's old, yes, but do you think he can perform at a top caliber as a top caliber QB in the NFL today? Just saying. Do you think Philip Rivers will bring success to the Colts organization? It could. I mean, he could be able to do so. But for him being out of the league for that long, I really don't see that's going to happen. I don't think he's going to be able to keep up with the fast pace with him being out of the league for that long. No, one of the things that really doesn't sit right with me with some athletes is they have a bad game or a bad season, and it may not even be up to the staff because the staff is doing everything that they can do, but they go into retirement, and then when teams that are like their friend goes to or someone that they're really close is on a different team, and they're like, well, I'm retiring, give me 6 months. Meanwhile, this person is retired and he's working out with a different team, comes out of retirement and want to go to a different team and play with that other team. Like that is crazy. Just think about what Gronk did. Gronk retired. When Brady went down to Tampa Bay, what happened? Gronk came out of retirement to play with Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. Like it just blows my mind. What's up with athletes leaving teams because they can't win a Super Bowl or they can't win an NBA finals or whatever to go team up with other people to build a super team to go try to win a championship or of some sort, right? We're gonna flip sports here. Let's look at basketball. LeBron James did the same exact thing. He didn't retire, but he left the Cavaliers to go team up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh down in Miami to win championships because he couldn't do it by himself. KD joining the Warriors because why? He couldn't win a championship on with the team that he had. It's crazy. It is mind-blowing that a lot of people compare LeBron James to Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, but neither one of them had to leave their team to win a championship. They led their team to championship games and won. Like it's so mind-blowing. It's crazy to just even think about that. What's up? What happened to team loyalty? Like it's not a thing anymore. Like at all. Warriors, I mean, I respect the Warriors because Steph, Clay, and Draymond did a lot to help carry that team to their first championship. And then they added KD. Obviously, they had Andre Iguodala. as a role player. They had a lot of good players on that team, for those few years that they won the NBA Finals, and I respect them. I don't like LeBron. LeBron is trash. He is a bum, in my opinion. If we had to put an order to the top three, I would put Michael Jordan first, then I would put Kobe, and then LeBron down there. Because Jordan did what he had to do in Chicago. And then Kobe did the same thing. He literally mimicked everything Jordan did. There was I think it was a documentary or some type of video I was watching that Jordan said, and I think this was right around the time Kobe had passed away, rest in peace. But Jordan has said Kobe would call him at 2 o'clock in the morning and ask him for advice because he wanted to be better than what Jordan was. Kobe's wife even said it, like he would be in the gym so much that he would rarely would be at home spending time with his family or anything along those lines. Curry is a good player. I respect him and his game. But I'm putting Kobe over Curry any day. That's just my opinion. But outside of that, though, right, is here's a great topic. I like the Iverson up there. I like that. I respect that a lot. I respect Iverson. I wouldn't even put LeBron up there with that right now because even then you still got to look at Bill Russell, who won 13 championships. You got to look at Wilt Chamberlain, who scored 100 points in a game. Like, there's a lot of people in that topic of discussion that should be up there before we talk about the man who cries about every little thing. The man who had to make a few calls just so his son can get drafted in the NBA. I don't think his son deserved to be in the NBA at all. The G League, yeah, he's still developing and he could do what he got to do down there. But I would have not put him on the roster. And JJ Redick is foul for even saying that he worked hard. In my opinion, Bryce James is better than Bronny James. Way better than Bronny. Bronny should not be in the NBA right now. He should be stuck at home playing video games like he likes to do instead of being in the gym playing basketball. That is my honest opinion on that. I honestly believe, like I said, Bryce James is better than Bronny James. That is what it is. Here's another topic of discussion that we can look at too. Do we think professional sports is going soft? And I say this behind the context that I just seen something today that said the NFL is looking at putting $32 million investing into a professional flag football league. The WNBA is playing more aggressive than the NBA right now. You got teams in the American Basketball Association playing better basketball, more aggressive basketball than teams in the NBA. And that's crazy. The dynamics of the game is changing. See, I remember watching players like Lou Williams come out of high school to get drafted by Philadelphia 76ers when he was 18. To think about that as well. Nowadays, you can't even get drafted, excuse me, out of high school to play in the NBA. But just to think, you got to worry about NIL deals now. You got to worry about AI technology. There's a lot that they have to worry about. But I don't think that these pro leagues are adapting the way they need to adapt in order to remain successful. All-Star weekend isn't what it used to be. I remember in the NFL when it used to be a tackle football game, the AFC versus the NFC. You got people like Ray Lewis laying hits on other players and playing an actual football game. And then you turn around and they playing flag football right now for All-Star weekend. You got to worry about the sports betting no matter what game it is. And then they get locked up. I like Jimmy Butler when he was on the Sixers. Then he had it out with a few people on that team, and then he ended up leaving and going down to Miami. I respected him for going down to Miami and still making the name for himself. I respected him when he was on Chicago and did what he had to do down there or up there in Chicago. Do I think it was a good move for him to go to Golden State? Probably not. But sometimes you just got to do what's best for you in the season of the life that you're living at this moment. So that might be a best decision for him. You never know. So again, I respect Jimmy Butler and I respect his playing style. But it's a good point. Is we're too worried about, like you said, the players and coaches throwing the games. Not even just the players and coaches, but the referees. Think about how lopsided games are because referees are throwing flags or calling fouls and giving technical fouls and different things like that. They get paid so much money from Vegas to just throw a game. Is crazy. And it's crazy to even think about. I wonder how much money they get paid though. I ain't gonna lie. I thought about that a couple of times. I might have to be a referee. Hey, yo, you need some money? I'll help you out. I got you. But it is what it is. Referees get paid a good amount of money anyway at the pro level. Like, yo, you want to foul? All right, go flop down there real fast like LeBron do. I got you. I'm gonna blow the whistle. End up giving you a technical foul just for flopping on the ground. Like that's literally how referees be these days. Like it's outrageous to even think about what can happen these days with these games. But let's look at the Spurs real fast. The Spurs did something that was Sixers aren't trash. I'm a huge Sixers fan, so like they are not trash. But when we look at the Spurs, I respect what the Spurs did because when Popovich had to step down from coaching due to his health, what did they just do? They brought in their three franchise players, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and Tim Duncan, a part of their coaching staff to develop their players. Not only did they go out and get Wemby, but they brought in another 7'3" player to play side by side next to Wemby. They're bringing in height and they're developing this talent to help them go back to the playoffs and eventually win another NBA championship. Think about what Miami just did. They hired Dwayne Wade, supposedly, for both of these things here. Supposedly hired Dwayne Wade and supposedly hired Tim Duncan, Manu, and Tony Parker to be on the coaching staff. Now think of if that's a power move for Dwayne Wade and the Miami Heat to bring him on as a coach to help them move on and grow. It could be a power move. Never know. But just think how things are starting to line up because some of these old players miss playing a game of basketball, and the only way they can give back is by being a coach. Like I mentioned the WNBA earlier. Like they're playing some decent basketball right now. but they're not making enough money. So what did some players do? They created their own 3-on-3 basketball league. And for players that play, they get, I believe it's a 5% or 15% share of the basketball league or something like that. But you have player or other professional players like she played on the women's soccer team, and I can't remember her name now. And she's a decent soccer player too. I had to look her up because it's really getting to my head now. I think it was I think her name is Alex or something like that. Let me double check real fast because now it's gonna get to me. Oh, Alex Morgan. Alex Morgan had purchased or invested into this 3-on-3 basketball league or whatnot. And then you see on the flip side, Ice Cube has started his own 3-on-3 basketball league, and was how that's going and different things like that. The game of basketball and pro sports is changing all around, and it's crazy to even think about that. But that's okay. Sometimes the change is good. Sometimes the change is bad. And that's true. I'll be that, that referee. Oh, you talking to me? Whoop, tap, tap. Can't talk to me. Double, you touch me, just a tap on the shoulder, you out of the game. Get out of here. Then you get fined for touching the referee. Yeah, it be like that sometimes. You gotta be slick as a referee. It's crazy. Like even in the American Basketball Association, if I'm not mistaken, one of the rules for the referees for the teams is like if you touch a referee, like you're supposed to get a technical foul or thrown out the game, something like that. It's crazy, but you got to be like as a referee, you got to be aggressive no matter what, and you got to be able to stand your ground. Do I think Joel Embiid is trash? Trash? No. Injury prone? Yes. 100% injury prone. Every year he has played in the NBA for the Sixers, he has been hurt. It is mind blowing to think that he played on Team USA to help them win the Olympics, but now he's not even going to play for Team USA for the 28 games. I think he said he was going to go to France and play with them or something like that, but it is what it is. Like, he might be forced to be medically retired soon. We don't know. There's a lot to think about. So we'll see. But we do got to give him his props. He has skills. But folks, that's going to wrap it up here today for our first night of Unfiltered Sports. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. I hope you guys will hit that subscribe button, and I hope you guys will like and share this video. And I hope you guys will tune in every Thursday night to watch Unfiltered Sports here on the OG Network. Come next week with some ideas to talk about for following weeks, some topics to debate, different things that you want to hear on Unfiltered Sports, where we're unbiased, we spit nothing but straight facts, we stay sharp, we stay loud, and we stay unfiltered. Again, you heard it here first on the OG Network. You guys stay unfiltered, you stay blessed, and let's go Dogs.
Fellas, ladies, you looking for lotions? You looking for beard oils? But unfortunately, everything you get from mainstream got chemicals in it and it's probably killing you? No problem, we got you. Go check out my people from Top to Bottom Hair and Skincare. That's Top to Bottom Hair and Skincare. www.top2bottom, BOTTU, the U is for unique, M.com. Tell them I sent you.